Not too long ago, Ilhan Omar was sprayed with an unidentified liquid at a town hall event. This video is gaining a lot of traction online. So take a quick look at this, and there's some other angles too, and then let's talk about it.
Abolishment of the agency. ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good.
About to start.
And DHS
See
Secretary Kristi Noem
right
must
now.
resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
Yeah, so that's really it. And then she continues speaking. It wasn't known yet what really that was sprayed. There is photos though, and it came out of a syringe, and it looked like a kind of an amber colored liquid. Let me go ahead and actually pull up the photo of that. So it's odd. It's unfortunate because really it doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you are on. Any sort of violence like this or anything where stuff like this happens, it's really worrisome because ultimately, political violence on either side is really never good for the state of America, especially as things are becoming more polarized. I think everybody can agree with that, which is why a lot of left-wing and right-wing politicians on social media have been speaking out about it because none of them are stupid. Maybe. None of them want to be also, attacked either. So they all know that if anything happens on one side, it could happen on the other, which is why you're starting to see a lot of them talk about it on social media. So I've previously made. Here's actually the photo of the liquid. Let me go ahead and open this image on another tab so you guys can see it. There we go. And this was the actual syringe. And there's a lot of other photos. There's a better photo of the guy actually holding it. So who knows what that is? It could honestly just be his piss. It could be something else. We really don't know. We'll probably find out soon. She seemed like she was fine afterwards. There's no other statement regarding her health. I think she's fine. Usually, if it was anything like bacterial or virus or something, it would take a few days anyways. But who knows? Very odd. Very disturbing. And somebody's saying yes, but she is vile. Absolutely. Everybody can have their own political beliefs, but regardless, this sort of thing is just it's just not good. It's not good for the state of America. There's actually, and I've previously showed this as more time passes, America is becoming more polarized, and it's not just that people are becoming more extreme on both sides. It's that the center is actually declining. So what we're seeing, and I believe there was a study done, I believe it was Pew Research, and back in 2001, they did an analysis on, polarization in America, and they found that about 4% of Americans on each side is polarized. So you have your very anarchist leftists on one side, and then you would have your very, very far right fascists on the other, just general. And it was about 4% on either side. They recently did that same exact study today, just a few years ago, actually. And so a few years actually changes a lot. And a few years ago, just a couple of years ago, that number went up from 4% to 12%, from 4 to 12%. So God knows what it is at now in 2026. But what we're starting to see is that the center moderate quote unquote opinion is beginning to be reduced because people have such vast differing opinions on matters. And it's really not good for the state of America when you end up having a political aisle that's extreme like this and the center goes down. Because if that's the case, then what does that ultimately mean long term? It seems like the prospects of civil war increase the more that we start to see these sort of graphs. And it's really worrisome. It's really worrisome for the people that live in the United States. Again, both sides. It's worrisome for our safety. And I think about how can we even stop it at this point? The world is so polarized, especially in the United States. How do you reverse course at this point? How do you even get back to having a center opinion when things are so polarized? I don't know the answer for that. I wish I could tell you guys. I don't know the answer for that. I think that there needs to just be more honest conversation. I think one thing that would help is stopping this ridiculous censorship we see on social media. The more people can actually have honest conversations about the truth, I think the better. And then there's also certain things that politically I'm not really sure how we're going to get them figured out. I think one of the biggest ones right now that's really affecting not just the United States, but also the West in general is the demographic rates. I think that's just pretty objective, regardless of what you feel about it. I think we can all say that that's just pretty true. I mean, in the United States, it's not even nowhere near as bad as how it is in Europe right now, which is why we're seeing a large shift to the right in Europe because of, again, immigration and everything else. That's one of the biggest things here. And people have such differing opinions on it. I don't know how things can go on normally without some sort of event changing things. And I hope that's not the case, some sort of massive event. But it seems like that's where we're kind of headed as a nation, unfortunately. Let me pull up the study, actually, on polarization levels in America. Polarization in America, so you guys can see this poll as well. So let's see here. Polarization, just quickly read, just a quickly AI generated thing here. Polarization in America has reached historic highs. That's pretty worrisome. 80% of adults in late 2024 state that the country is deeply divided. Here's Gallup News with a better poll, with a better study on this. There we go. Let me share my screen so you guys can see that. Americans' ideological identification was steady in 2024, with an average of 37% describing their political views as very conservative, 34% as moderate, and 25% as very liberal or liberal. So, we're starting to definitely see that shift. Still, most notably, the percentage of Americans identifying as moderate has declined from an average of 43% in 1992 to 34% in 2024, while conservatism has been fairly steady, fluctuating around the 3-decade mean of 38%. So, that's a massive drop from 43% in 1992 to 34% in 2024. That's a big drop. Here's another graph so you guys can see that too. And it shows U.S. political ideology 1992 to 2024. And again, we're seeing liberalism rise while moderates decrease. I don't think that life can just keep going on that way without having a strong centrist populace where people can actually meet in the middle. So let's see what else this data has to show. U.S. political ideology. This was again back in 2024. 34% identified as moderate, 27% as conservative, 10% very conservative, while 17% identified as liberal and 9% identified as very liberal. That's interesting. So there's actually a slight shift to the right, it seems like. This was just a 2024 poll. The Republicans and Democrats' ideology is most extreme in 30 years. So, I mean, and that's pretty obvious. And if we think that it's bad, I mean, honestly, guys, look at the younger generation, especially, and especially Gen Z. They're more polarized than ever on both sides, So we'll see how things unfold moving forward. Hopefully there's a way we can kind of bring America back to be a bit more cohesive. I just don't, it's hard to imagine how that would be possible right now. If you think there's a way, genuinely a real way, let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say. And if you found this video interesting, I'd appreciate it if you click the subscribe button as well and give it a thumbs up to help me reach more people like you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.